Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a good Thursday night. It's September 24th, and I'm here with another weather update. So as we've been talking about the past couple videos, the tropics are kind of cooling down for a little bit. It's not gonna stay like this, but they're cooling down for 1 to 2 weeks. So we won't be having much tropical weather to talk about. We do have some other big stuff to talk about, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. But yeah, so let's start in the tropics. Right now we have remnants of beta of 25 miles per hour, minimum central pressure of 1,007 millibars. It is in western Alabama. I think it's actually moved a little bit further east than that. But yeah, that's it. Nothing else going on in the Atlantic over the next 5 days. That's really, really good to see. In the Pacific, we just have a 45 mile per hour tropical storm Lowell, which is right here. It's not really forecasted to become a hurricane. It's forecasted to weaken by tomorrow's video. So yeah, we'll have to see if that does weaken. Yeah, so the tropics are really calming down for a little bit. It's not going to stay like this, though. Now, this is the remnants of beta right here. Really, right now, all we have is some rain going on in eastern Tennessee, northeastern Alabama, showers across Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. Some of those are kind of heavy. And we do have some thunderstorms in eastern Alabama in this area. And we have some kind of in here, but that's not really from Lowell. Or not from Lowell, from beta. It is from beta. It's also it's also Florida's pulse storm season. So that's kind of what it is. Yeah, those actually are. Those look like they're from beta, actually. But yeah, so let's look at the GFS model. So yeah, now let's go away from the tropics. There's not really a whole lot to talk about. The remnants of beta will be moving out of the U.S. by Saturday afternoon until they go out back into the Atlantic, and we're not expecting them to reform at all. So that's exciting. Now this is our next big deal. So next week we're going to be kind of talking about this a good amount today. So next week we're going to be having a big cool down for the east and the central U.S. So the models, the GFS is really uptrended on this since last night's video. You can see look at this. This is next Tuesday afternoon. Very strong low pressure system up in Canada. Massive cold front going all the way down to Florida, and maybe even some severe weather to talk about. So we'll have to see, but probably just thunderstorms and rain the further north you go. We could be seeing maybe a marginal risk. We'll have to keep an eye on that though. And then by Wednesday, we can see it goes up into Canada, it swings up northward, and it's kind of stationary there. And now this is looking interesting. We didn't see this last night. Areas of Canada could actually be seeing decent snowfall from that around October 1st. So we see that. This is the GFS model. We're going to be looking at two other models, what they're saying with this, and then we have the big cool down after the east. And let's look at temperature anomalies. Now, temperature anomalies, from what I've noticed, is that they're still very strong, or they're still very below average. They still have temperatures up to like 15 to 20 degrees below average. But the thing is that they're not. It's kind of transition. It's kind of weakened a little bit for areas like the south. The cold air is not to be as strong for the south. Now, it could change though. We can see by October 5th though, if the cold air kind of goes away, it's still there, but it's weakened. In. We have another cold blast that comes in, and that one could bring even colder temps around October 9th. Now that's pretty far out, but we're probably going to be seeing another cold blast after this one because it is October and the weather is starting to get more active. So yeah, we had this cold blast earlier this week, and then October 1st we have one coming out from Canada. This is the big one. And the west is going to be staying pretty above average, by the way. So yeah, it's looking really interesting. Now let's see what actual temperatures are and see if the GFS is still having areas getting their first freeze. So that's October 1st, September 30th. October 2nd, it has pretty much everywhere in northern Iowa, like all of Minnesota, a good amount of Wisconsin, eastern and central North Dakota, and eastern South Dakota getting their first freeze, or maybe their second freeze. I don't think anywhere has actually gotten below freezing in the Midwest yet. This area though, the mountains have gone below freezing. But we see, so that's about as far south as the freeze line goes. And then some areas in the northeast could be getting a decent freeze also. It just depends. This could change though. It's still about a week this is only about a week out now, which we've been watching this for a while. This is a week out from today right here. This is kind of what the cold blast I'm expecting to start around September 30th through October 1st is when it's going to start to really cool down for the whole U.S., for the whole Central and Eastern, not the West. The West, you're not going to be cooling down much. You guys can see the West maintains above average temperatures. Let's look at the Canadian model. We haven't looked at this recently. So the Canadian model has kind of the same pattern, kind of like two large, strong low pressure systems in the east. One potentially bringing severe weather to the east. We'll have to see about that. It does not have the cold air as potent in Canada. It has some snow showers, but it doesn't have a snowstorm like the GFS did in Canada. It does have some light snow mixing in there around October 2nd. That's kind of far out, though, for the Canadian model. Yeah, let's see what it has for temperature anomalies, because it does go out further enough now. It actually has the cold air very strong. It has the cold air almost 15 to 20 degrees below average, and that's the strongest cold air, or the most below average air being right around Omaha, Nebraska. Let me see, that moves further south and goes into Arkansas right there. So very below average temperatures. This is Sunday, October 4th. Yeah, look at this. So the Canadian model has the cold air. We can get a lot further south. Look at this. So freezes in eastern Arkansas right there. Tennessee, northern Georgia, 32 degrees in Blairsville. And then freezes in the higher elevations of the west even. And then still above average temperatures in this area. These areas should start to get below freezing this time of year. It's kind of a normal thing. But this is the heart of the cold air right here. And, yeah, so pretty much a decent... I don't know if this is going to happen like this, but the Canadian model does have the cold air making it much further south. GFS is the strongest cold air in this area. Canadian model has the freeze, or this is the most south, the GFS is the freeze, like the below freezing temperatures going is kind of like that. Canadian model has it not like that, but it has it like, gosh, I can't do it straight. There we go. Canadian model has it all the way down to northern Alabama, northern Mississippi, and north Georgia. Then that has it, can't really look past that. Now, it is very far out for the Canadian model. And, yeah, it has southeastern South Dakota getting down to 20. So that's pretty significant. So, yeah, now the last model we're going to look at is the European. This is on Pivotal Weather here. We can see the European model has the system pretty much a similar thing. It actually has one coming up from the southern side of the cold front, it looks like. If this happens next Wednesday like this, this area in the south could be looking at some severe weather. So we'll have to see. It looks kind of interesting. That moves up northeast. And then it definitely does not have the first system as widespread. It barely has any snow, maybe a little bit of mixing kind of to the north of this, maybe a little bit. So we're going to look at these models again tomorrow and see what they're saying. But now let's look at temperature anomalies, and see what the European is saying. See if it's similar to the GFS or more similar to the Canadian model. So yeah, let's go out. Next out of that. So yeah, it has a big warm-up. We're going to have a big warm-up for Central and East this weekend, kind of through Sunday and Monday. And then cold blast starts. The European model has it a lot further south, it looks like. I don't know if the GFS are showing up, but it looks like a lot further south. And how's that moving east? And here is the cold air here. This is pretty much the heart of the cold blast. Much of the Midwest, 15 degrees below average down to Texas. We have temperatures of 20 degrees below average and temperatures slightly below average in the east. And that's Friday afternoon. And then Saturday morning, it looks like the cold air is going to make it the furthest south with temperatures in southwestern Louisiana 18 degrees below average. And so yeah, the European, it looks like it actually has it further south in all the models. And let's see what it has the actual temperatures being. So, see if it has any freezes. And by the way, so if temperatures are below 32 degrees, it'll show blue. If it's in the 30s, it'll show kind of greenish. If it's in the 40s, it'll show kind of greenish yellowish. I don't really like your pivotal weather's color scheme, but so it barely has the northern plains getting below freezing, maybe a little bit on October 2nd. So yeah, there's still a lot of uncertainty with this, and it does have 40s making it all the way down to the southeast, kind of like the other two model runs. But it does not have it making as far. The European does not have it as strong in the northeast. It does not have it as strong in the northern plains. The European has this a lot weaker, so there's still a lot of uncertainty with this cold blast. I'd say the European is more similar to the Canadian model. What I'm thinking, because the Canadian model had the cold air further south, but the Canadian model also still had it cold air pretty strong in the plains, so we'll have to see. Oh yeah, that's up with this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please consider subscribing and leaving a like. I would really appreciate it. But yes, bye.